So literally a year ago today, I got rid of everything I owned. I donated most of it. I sold what I could. I had people come in to buy stuff an hour before I left to the airport. I literally left so much furniture in my apartment. I had been living in New York City for 8 years, so you can already imagine. I literally, as I was packing my stuff, you might as well thought I was a hoarder, guys. I didn't even know how much stuff a one-bedroom apartment in New York City could hold, but I donated most of it, and I left the country, and I'm not coming back to America. America's been canceled, but it hasn't been. I'm still an American citizen. I love America. And here's the thing, I live in Europe now, and I'm gonna tell you guys the real reason I left America. It's probably not what you think. You are gonna have to stay till the end of the video to find out though. So make sure you like this video, share it with a friend that you know is trying to get out of America, and subscribe so you don't miss the further updates. Because here's the thing, guys, I've tried to film this video like 20 times. There's just so many reasons, so much information I gotta get to you guys about where I've been, the craziness that's been going on in my life. And those of you that don't know me, get used to my face, boo, because it's aminazena season, all right? I'm an international entrepreneur, okay? So I make music, I'm a DJ, I'm a fitness instructor, and I have online stores, and I do other things, and blah, blah, blah. And the reason I'm here, I'm in Amsterdam, which is a city in the Netherlands. I'm in Amsterdam on a business permit. It's called the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty. So I'm able to live here as long as I stay self-employed, which is cool with me because I've been self-employed for 10 years. And yeah, I'm here, yo. I'm here. I pay taxes. I do it. So I'm going to get into the real reasons, man. I'm going to start with reason number one is that the first time I ever came to Amsterdam, I literally fell in love with it. And here's the thing. These reasons are in no particular order, first off. Second off, we landed in the airport. This was 2016. And you have to remember, I've traveled a lot before then. In 2016, I had traveled up to 2016. I think I had traveled to 10 international countries at that point. I'm from America, the United States, so I've traveled to most of the states. I've traveled to like 25 of the states multiple times. I've traveled in Europe, I've traveled in South America, I've traveled in the Caribbean, I've traveled in Asia, and no place in the world ever felt like home to me, okay? Not even New York. I'm gonna tell you all the truth. When I moved to New York in 2011, I knew I was only gonna be there for 5 to 10 years. I could feel it. I was like, I'm gonna come to New York. New York is the best place for me at the time, but it's not like my home. But when I came to Amsterdam, I was like, whoa. We landed in the airport. We had not even landed in the airport. I was with this dude and a friend, and he was like, you're crazy, girl. How do you think you're gonna live somewhere when you haven't even left the airport? But as soon as we landed, in my heart, I just knew, okay? And everything in my life that's been working out for me, my fitness business, my music businesses, everything was always just like this sort of super loud voice coming from my heart. Not like one of those crazy pathological multiple personality voices, like an intuition voice, y'all. Like the voice of my heart. I just knew it was right. And everything in my life has always sort of been this moment of clarity that came to me. And Amsterdam was the first place in my life that felt like, wow, I want to have kids here. I want to buy a house here. I want to make this my home. I was actually one of those girls. I was like, I'm never going to have kids and get married. I thought I was going to be one of those people, y'all. Because nowhere in America felt like my home. Nowhere in the world felt like my home. So I never sort of had this feeling of like, I can see myself settling down here and like building a life here, you know? And it's crazy because, you know, once I got really clear about what I wanted for my life without holding back, not the stuff that looks good on paper. I feel like a lot of us go through this phase in life where it's like, we want to do the things that look good on paper. We want to do the thing that seems like the safe bet. But let me tell you let me tell y'all something. Ain't nothing. Why can't I speak today? Ain't nothing a safe bet, all right? Everything in life is a risk, okay? Every time you get into your car, you're taking a risk. Everything in life is not guaranteed. So you should do what you really, really feel like is best for you in your heart, all right? There's no safe bet. You're gonna die anyway. Spend your whole life playing it safe. You're gonna die, hun. Sorry, I didn't want this video to be super, like, you know, grim or anything, but that's just a reminder. And that's what keeps me excited, y'all. That's why I left. I was like, you know, I'm gonna get on this plane from New York City. And the day I left to Amsterdam, there was like a severe ice storm and the flight was delayed by hours. It was insane. I flew to Amsterdam in the middle of an ice storm, okay? I could have died on that flight, and I knew that. I could have came to Europe and not found a place to live and died on the streets of starvation, and I knew that. And that's how I felt when I was moving to New York. I was like, yo, I have nothing to lose, okay? Like, I don't know when it's gonna be my last day on earth, but until then, I'm gonna live every day like it's my last. I'm not gonna stress, hun. All right, so that brings me to reason number 2. Amsterdam has a very free, open-minded society because all of the drugs and prostitution are legal, okay? Weed is not a drug. And if you want to go there, we'll go there later. You don't have to smoke weed. I enjoy weed. I think it's a good thing. THC is actually used as medicine, okay? So in Amsterdam, the weed is legal. You can go into these places called coffee shops, right? And you could buy up to 5 grams a day, right? And they have pre-rolled joints, and they have edible, and they have hash, and they have CBD. And there's like 50 coffee shops all around Amsterdam, and you can sit in there and smoke, and you can smoke weed outside. Like, it's so cool because in America, it's like crazy because more Americans smoke weed than like anyone in the planet. But half the country, some of the states, it's illegal, right? And then some of the other states are opening up their own coffee shops. They're opening up dispensaries and prescribing it as medicine. Okay, you have half of the United States in California and Colorado that are prescribing marijuana as medicine by doctors. Okay? But then if you cross the imaginary lines, if you go into another state, another border, you could end up in jail for the rest of your life for having it. It's corny. It's corny, America. It doesn't take that long to pass a law. All right, and again, I'm not here to get political. I don't really even have any sort of merit in the political atmosphere, all right, y'all? I'm not qualified to give political advice to anybody. But all I'm saying is, it seems like it would be better if all the weed was legal in all 50 states. Y'all talk about the United States, y'all the divided states. I don't know, I don't get it. And it's not even, and like, I get it. We all know about the pharmaceutical company, and like, I feel like in America, there's this argument that if they make marijuana legal, the pharmaceutical company is gonna lose money, but like, y'all still gonna be rich. Like, y'all pharmaceutical companies, you might lose money, but you're still gonna be able to buy a private island, and your kids will still have a trust fund. All right, let's get people out of jail for owning and selling plants, especially plants that don't kill anybody. It's corny, it's embarrassing, and weird. That's how I feel. And in Amsterdam, psychedelics are also legal, which most Americans can't even cope with the fact of marijuana. So trying to get Americans to understand the benefits of psychedelics is also just like, well, let's try again another day when I got another 2 or 3 hours. You need therapy before you're willing to accept the fact that psychedelics are actually beneficial to society. But that's the thing about Amsterdam, is that because of the weed, the psychedelics, the prostitution, right, sex and drugs, the thing we all pretend like isn't happening, that everybody participates in almost daily, is legal out here. It's in the open. You can go to the red light district and you can see these girls wearing lingerie standing in the window waiting for their customers, okay? They pay taxes. They have to go get STD tests. It's a business for them. And that's the thing, is like, we all came out of a vagina. So I'm not gonna sit here and knock people for wanting to go have sex, especially if it's consensual, all right? As long as it's consensual and not with children and not with animals, right? Because you can't consent to have sex with a child or an animal. So as long as it's consensual between both parties, I think it's cool. And I feel like because of this, people in Amsterdam are just more up to date, right? It's just like, okay, cool, now we can move on. Like, what's next? What can we work on together? We've created a city now where these things are legal. It seems to be working out for the economy. It seems to be working out for the government. It's not causing any sort of chaos. Cool, it works. It makes people a little more open-minded. You feel a little bit more free, and it's not even like, even if you don't smoke weed or do psychedelics or, handle and deal with prostitution, just knowing that it's legal, just knowing that there's this freedom, right? It makes life feel a lot better. Because reason number 2, the police out here don't have guns, right? The police out here are not some sort of like crazy, scary people you got to avoid, right? It's kind of nice. Like, a police officer showed up at my house in the Netherlands one time. This is crazy. Came into my house because the door was open, all right? And I was laying in my bed asleep, and he knocked on the door. He's like, police. And yo, in my head, because I was an American, I am an American, I was like, oh my God, I gotta get on Facebook Live. I'm gonna die, this is gonna be my last day ever. This officer's in my house, he's gonna shoot me because I'm black and all this stuff. And like, he literally came in my room and he was like, don't get out of your bed. And I was like, oh my freaking gosh. And he just pulled my ID out of my wallet. He's like, are you Amina? And I was like, yes. And he's like, here's your wallet, have a nice day. And then he left, you know? And I feel like in America, if a cop comes to your house, in America, cops are going to people's houses out of nowhere and just shooting them, okay? Like, in America, you see a cop, you're afraid, even if you're not doing anything wrong. And I can't do it anymore. I can't deal with the paranoia about the guns and the shooting, and it's a lot. And I'm sorry for America. I'm sorry that we are going through that, but self-preservation, y'all. Take it or leave it, but I'm out. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm not living in a place where I feel like I'm gonna get shot all the time, right? Even in New York, man, you be on that subway. Reason number 3, all right? I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I told y'all I'm telling y'all the truth. I prefer to bike everywhere. I'm not really much of a car person. If you want to drive me, I'll get in the car, but I don't really like to drive. It seems like a super expensive thing to do, right? Like, the cars I want probably cost like $100,000 because I want like a Porsche. I think Porsches are really cute. I don't want anything else. If I can't have a Porsche, I don't want a car. So I don't have a car. I ride a bike everywhere and it makes life so much better, yo. When I was living in New York, I thought I hated my life or something. I thought, you know, that's what got me into online business, because I was like, yo, I have to commute all the time, riding the subway. There isn't even words. If I really continue to talk about how bad the New York City subway is, it'll be another hour. It is abysmal beyond belief. The New York City subway isn't even a third world country standard. I've been to third world countries that had better public transportation than the MTA, and I'll leave it at that. There's asbestos in the air vent. Go to New York City and look up at any subway station, and you're going to see a color of black dust that you have never even known dust could get so black. You never known you could see so much dust in one place in your life. That is the New York City subway, MTA. Thank you for making everybody late every single day. Thank you for charging everybody more money, and your service gets worse every year. Monopoly, the person who owns MTA is making money and also making the world a worse place. Good for you, bro, but I guess you're getting paid. And that's that American mindset, is like, Americans value money way too much, okay? Americans in the car and the money thing go hand in hand in America. See, Americans like to be in their cars and they like to be in traffic all the time, and that's just raising your cortisol. You're breathing all that carbon dioxide, you're breaking down the atmosphere so that you can go to work. Most people in America have a car so they can go to work, but their job keeps them just above broke, so they're just always in this cycle of paying for their car so they can go to work. And then nobody in America is really breaking through, I feel, sort of this financial bubble. And there's just all this traffic of people going to their 9 to 5 still. And everybody's in traffic all day and stressed out and working way too much, not getting paid enough. And I just feel like in America that bubble's about to burst, you know? More and more people are starting online businesses. And I think that's good and everything. But I don't want to be home all day every day. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to go out and experience life and have fun. And I feel like in America, if you want to do that, you got to get in your car. And if you want to live in a big city like LA or New York, it's a lot just to get down the street. You know what I mean? It's like something that should take 5 to 10 minutes is now going to take 30 to 40 minutes because you got to order an Uber that's going to cost $58 to go 12 blocks. Or you got to buy a super fancy car, because in LA, here's the thing, y'all. In LA, you can't really be poor. It's not a flex. It's not a good look. You have to have the latest car. You have to have a mansion in the hills. You have to have the latest, you know, whatever facial non-invasive surgery trend is the most prominent at the time. You gotta have that, right? LA, I visited a few times. I got love for LA, but I don't think I could live there. You know, I don't know. I can't be in a car all the time. That's why I ride a bike. Yeah, and the whole money situation. The money out here, the euro, I feel goes further than the dollar. Now, I will say, at this point in time, the euro is worth more than the dollar. And the cool thing is that you can use your euros in other countries in the EU. So if you go to Spain, you can use euros. If you go to Germany, you can use euros, which is pretty cool, right? So it's cool if you want to travel. You don't always have to exchange currency, because I've learned as a traveler, exchanging currencies can a lot of times eat a lot of your cash up. Those fees and everything like that, when you're traveling a lot, you want to try to avoid those as much as possible. So it's cool that you can travel around Europe and, you know, you can still use your euros. And I also just feel like, you know, again, I am not an economist. I am not anybody that should be given an opinion about politics. You know what I mean? But just as somebody that's been a business owner for 10 years, just as somebody that's lived in New York City, just as a person who deals with finances and pays taxes, it was like in New York City, I'm going to put it to you like this. When I first moved to New York, a bowl at Chipotle at this restaurant, you could get a chicken bowl, brown rice, black beans. You could get the guacamole, even though it was $2 extra. You could get the guacamole, the chicken bowl. It was like $9.30, okay? When I left New York City 8 years later, that same bowl of chicken and rice and guac, same portion size, same seasonings, same everything, now costs $14. Okay, how'd you go up $5 in price for the same thing? And that's what's happening in America, except nobody's wages are going up, right? If you work for yourself, you can charge higher rates. That's cool. That's what I had to do, right? But in America, if you have a job and everything around you, the prices are going up, but your salary isn't, you see what's happening. You're turning into a wage slave, right? You're falling into this weird financial pitfall that a lot of Americans find themselves in. But to be positive, I'm gonna be real, because I don't want to complain the whole time. I don't want this to be a rant video. America is still the land of opportunity. I will say that, despite all the bullshit. And even if you don't have that good of a job, even if you're only making like 30, 40K a year, you can still make moves with that, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes in America, and I fell for this too, and I think New York did this to me as far as the fun. What was that? Whew. I'm not gonna edit this video, guys. This is a straight shot. I have 20 different versions of this video, so hopefully this is the last one I have to do. I'm gonna get this posted. But as far as the money goes in America, I feel like, you know, and I was saying, I grew up in a middle class home, but I didn't grow up like, let's say, super wealthy, okay? I didn't grow up in a home where it was like, you know, we have a private yacht. We're gonna go buy an island this weekend. But I sometimes felt like I was poor, even in New York, you know, making a 6-figure income, feeling poor because I'm not Warren Buffett, because I'm not making 8 figures a month, right? Americans really make it seem like you're either a millionaire, billionaire, or you're starving. Like, I just remember I hired a lot of business coaches in the past 2 years, and like most of the people, and I'm joining these masterminds where everybody's making 7 figures, 8 figures a month, and like, that's dope, that's lit. I want that. I'm not saying I don't want that, but I feel like the attitude around money in America is just, if you literally are not even millionaire to some of the people I'm now in circles with, $1 million's not enough. They need to be a billionaire. And I just feel like this scarcity mindset in America is really strange, because even with making $40,000 to $30,000 a year, I mean, you have a lot of advantages. I mean, even if you make $40,000 a year, you can still save up for a vacation or two, get yourself a nice computer, treat yourself to good groceries, and like start a business that could eventually make you $40,000 a month. Like, sometimes in America, we really make the scarcity a lot worse than it is. Like, America, if you live in America and you're making $40,000 in America, like, you're still doing better than most of the world. I think Americans don't realize that a lot of the world is kind of underdeveloped and archaic. A lot of it isn't, right? You go to places like Sweden, you go to places like, you know, Dubai, and it's super up to date. And that's another thing too, is Americans, for some reason, it's like, Americans think they're super poor. It's like, even though being poor in America means you're gonna have food stamps, you're gonna have a nice home to go to, you're gonna have an education and clothes on your back, you're gonna have everything you need and more, right? Like, you're gonna, even America, if you're really poor, they give you a cell phone. Like, there's no such thing as like really being like destitute in America. And I know there's homeless people, I saw them all over New York. But even then, you know what I mean? Like, the homeless people in New York be getting whole boxes of pizza handed to them. The homeless people in New York, if you're gonna be homeless, man, I guess that's the place to do it, because When I was living in New York, man, it'd be homeless people everywhere. You could be in the nicest area of town. You're in Wall Street. You're downtown treating yourself to some bougie spa pedicure. And there's like 30 homeless people just laying on the street. But they all have food. They all have a phone somehow. I don't know. I'm not here to talk about that. But that was another reason it wasn't exactly hard to leave New York, right? And it's not to joke or anything, but there's a lot of crazy people in New York ready to just kind of kill you. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I feel like in New York, you gotta be ready to just, at any time, you gotta be ready to just break someone's neck at any given notice. You know what I mean? Like, the first thing I did when I moved to New York was take self-defense. I took Krav Maga, I learned MMA, I took boxing lessons, so I can throw a real punch. You know, I can go right for the jugular and knock your ass out if I really need to, right? And so I had to carry that confidence with me at all times, you know, because in New York, I got followed home a bunch. You want me to lie and make it sound like New York is a cute place for a single girl to go alone? Probably not. Now that I live there, probably not, you know? Like, you can, but sis, like, be ready, because there's a lot of predators out there. There's a lot of times you're going to have to stand your ground. There's a lot of crazy homeless people that might punch you in the head. There's a lot of crazy women that might just start a fight with you in the middle of the train. You got to square up and you got to say, hey, look, sis, I don't want to have to do it. Okay, my hands are lethal weapons, so you know what that is. I'm a personal trainer. I lift. I take fighting. Do you want to fight with me? I don't want to fight with you. You started it. I will end it. I don't want to, but I will. Yeah, for real. New York City is not a game. Somebody got shot on my block in broad daylight, all right? I got woken up to a guy screaming to call the ambulance on my block. I lived in Harlem, yo. You know what I mean? The amount of times, like, I had this dude followed me up to the 5th floor where I lived, all right? I've had people threaten to cut my face. I've had all sorts of crazy shit happen to me. It's insane. I probably had PTSD. I had to get therapy in New York because of the amount of craziness that I went through just from living in that city. Now, my life is I feel like my life is a feel-good story, y'all. My life is a feel-good story. I believe that we attract the energy that we put out, right? I don't start fights. I'm not a dramatic, crazy person. Can I be petty sometimes? Sure. But I feel like that's the extent of it. I recycle. You know what I mean? Like, I work in fitness. I help people get in shape. I make music. You know, I feel like I'm not doing anything too crazy and shady out here. You know, but that's subjective. But yeah, I just feel like Americans really think America is like the highest standard of living, and I'm like, it's not. It's not at all. It's a B. It's like a B. It's a westernized first world country. It's the birthplace of a lot of ingenuity, but just overall, just cleanliness, like, I felt like the streets of New York, it's just like a public health hazard. Just mountains of trash. Rats, roaches everywhere. Buildings that should have been condemned 5 years ago. You know, people, like my neighbors and stuff telling me, yeah, I see roaches every day. I haven't seen a roach in Amsterdam once. I have never had a roach. I don't have bugs in my house. I sometimes get spiders because I live and I have a backyard filled with trees. Spiders are clean. If you see a spider in your house, as a matter of fact, you're not even gonna see a spider in your house unless you're in a certain level of cleanliness and there's a certain type of nature around your house. You know, I never had no spider in New York. Ain't no spider gonna deal with all that filth and bullshit in New York City, man. Spiders need fresh air and grass and trees. And the cockroaches, boo, is, I found a cockroach in a fresh laundry basket, y'all. Okay, I had just done my laundry in New York City, and I am unfolding the clothes, and there's a freaking cockroach in there, and that's when I said, I'm done. I'm out, all right? I'm out, man. New York City, a lot of sexual predators. Woo! And that's the thing, I will say this too, as far as like, now I have a boyfriend, y'all. I forgot to mention that. I will definitely get into it. He's my soulmate. We met 2 months before I left, and I was saying, I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video, but once I got really clear about what I wanted in life, not a life that looks good on paper, not the life that you're supposed to live, the life I wanted in my heart. And, you know, I literally said in my heart, I was like, I know there's Tinder, I know that there's all these dating apps, but I want to meet somebody in person. That's just what I want, okay? I don't care about what's realistic. I want a guy from New York. This is literally, this is what I said I wanted. It was on January 1st, 2019, like the night before I had written out all my New Year's goals and like everything I wanted, and I was like, At that point, I knew I was leaving Amsterdam. This was March 4th, 2019 was the day I moved to Amsterdam. But, and you may not be seeing this video in exactly a year, but, guys, sorry. January 1st, 2019, I told myself, I want to meet a guy in person. I want to meet a New York boy. I need a hood guy. That's just how I am. I need a guy who's a little bit gangster, all right? So I wanted to meet this gangster guy from New York who was willing to move to Amsterdam with me. That's what I said, in an ideal world. And I also decided, this was January 1st, 2019, I put on this really cool denim coat. It was like a motorcycle coat. And I took these pictures, first of the year pictures. I said, I want to be a rock star. I want to embody the energy of a rock star. And if I'm being true to myself, music is what I love. I want a guy to come with me on my music journey and make music with me and travel the world and tour the world with him playing music. That's what I said I wanted in my heart. I didn't say it was realistic. I didn't know if I was gonna get it, but I said that's what I wanted. The next day, January 2nd, I went out to a show. I went out to a rock music show. After working at the gym, I had just done teaching a class. I was like, I wanna go out. And guess what? I met my current boyfriend there. The next day, after finally making a decision from my heart, not the decision that looks good on paper, not feeling like I had to meet a guy on an app because that's what everybody's doing, I met my soulmate. He literally helped me pack up everything. He literally broke into my apartment in New York City after I'd moved out. He broke in with a credit card to go get my N64 that I had left in a closet, okay? This guy is the love of my life. We're so in love with each other. We've been together a year. He comes to visit me all the time in Amsterdam. Now he's going to move to Amsterdam. He's in a rock band. His band, it's crazy. His band gets booked in Amsterdam all the time. His band gets booked in Europe all the time. And they were considering a move to Amsterdam before I even met him. That is how crazy, that is how fast your life and your success will come to you when you get aligned with what you really want in your heart, okay? When I got aligned with what I want in my heart, I got it less than overnight, all right? And he's with me, and we have vlog videos, which I will be posting. We're gonna have our own YouTube channel. His name is Dom. We are like, we're best friends, you know? He's my little rocker boo, and we're making music together, and yeah. So I just wanted to share that. And I also wanted to say though, in New York City, I felt like I was getting catcalled all the time. Like, I lived in Harlem, so I had to get off at 125th and Lex. If you're from New York, you know how ratchet 125th Street is, man. Every day, my train stop was 125th. Whew. I remember one time this dude with the teardrops, he had multiple teardrops coming down his face, chased me down the street. I just burst out in a sprint. I was like, I don't got time. He was like, yo, light skin, yo, light skin. This guy, he must have been about 7 feet tall, covered in face tattoos. I sprinted. That was fight or flight. I was like, I don't even know what he's about to say to me. I don't know what he wants, but I am scared. All right, in New York, you get catcalled a lot. Damn, ma, you healthy. Light skin, God bless you, mom. Oh, no, more like, God bless you, mommy. Hey, light skin, yo, light skin, yo. Hey, damn, ma, you look healthy, though. Hey, light skin. Every single day, no matter what. I had a stalker at one point. I had to change my path home at one point. You guys, and that's what I'm telling you, New York was a risk. You're probably thinking, did you even have fun there? I did. I had so much fun in New York. New York worked out great for me, which is even the crazier part. Like, why did I leave? Let me just check the time. I just have to make sure so I can get to places on time. Y'all, I got a schedule out here. I told you I wasn't gonna edit this video. I don't got time to edit. I just wanted to do a straight shot. Whew, so many things. So overall, let's kind of recap. The money's better out here. The food, oh my God, the food is so much better in Europe. All that fake ass, genetically modified, chemical cancer causing food in America. We could make a whole video on that, and I will, because I definitely want to talk about nutrition and food on my channel. As you can see, the sun's going down. I got a new ring light though. Oh, we stay lit, boo. Woo-hoo. The food out here is so much better. Much cheaper, much healthier, better quality. Food in Europe is better, done. Now, the food is more fun in America. The food is more cool in New York. You can go get yourself some deep fried hot dog Oreo ball. My camera turned off. I was talking too much. So we're back. I got my ring light on. Same day, same outfit, you could tell. Anyways, same story. We're picking up with the food, all right? Now, the food in Europe is way better. Better quality, better price, hands down. You can't even compare, okay? Like, literally, I used to have, like, sort of, like, acne. Now, my skin isn't perfect, and now y'all probably gonna zoom in on the video and look and turn me into a meme. But here's the thing. My skin cleared up so much without me doing anything, just by switching the foods I was eating. I didn't switch my diet. I still eat meat. As a matter of fact, in America, I didn't eat cheese. I never ate cheese. I was scared of cheese and white bread. Come to Europe, boo, I'm eating cheese and white bread almost daily. And I'm losing weight, right? Because the food out here is made with real ingredients. If you look at the ingredients on the food packages in Europe, it's like 4 things that you can pronounce. I don't even speak Dutch, but I can understand the food ingredients, right? It'll be like 4 or 5 things. You pick up bread, it's like wheat, water, and salt. You're like, oh, cool. You pick up bread in America, it's at least 30 different chemicals that you have never heard of that start with the letter X. And you're like, what? You know what I mean? America, y'all fucking wildin' with that food situation. Y'all wildin' with that. Y'all giving everybody cancer with that food, man. So I'm just gonna leave it there because I'm gonna get too passionate and upset if I keep talking about it. And I'm trying to make this video, you know, a reasonable length. It's already going 30 minutes because there's just so much to say. But I'm just gonna give you guys just sort of the rundown of America versus, you know, Amsterdam at least. I literally left because the food is better here. I left because the economy is better here. I left because I feel more at home and more peace here as far as just like the guns and the police situation go. I feel like my business can thrive out here on the same level it could in New York City. I feel like I like the nature of Amsterdam. I like riding a bike and I like the cleanliness. I like that we're forced to recycle, right? You're forced to recycle in Europe. You can't, it's not optional. You don't get brownie points for doing it. You have to do it or you're gonna get fined. That's how it should be. You know, they give you containers. All you have to do is sort out your trash and make sure plastic goes here and paper goes there. And just by doing that, you can make the environment a better place. So I like that Amsterdam is very, very, very environmental, you know, aware. And Amsterdam in general is just a more free place. People are very into like consciousness and yoga and understanding yourself. And like they have this like philosophy schools here and just very much more intellectual here. All right. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person on the planet, but I just feel like the club life is good in here. That's another thing too. I feel like, you know, as a DJ, y'all know I DJ in New York. Those clubs, man, they would even treat me bad sometimes. In New York City, part of the nightlife is like you get treated bad. There's always a dress code everywhere you go. And if the bouncer doesn't like your heels, he's not gonna let you in. Even if you're a hot girl, that's not even enough in New York, you know? You have to spend $2,000 on a table and they're gonna yell at you that you gotta leave so the next group of people can come in and they're gonna spend $2,000 on this table and no one's actually having fun in New York because no one's dancing because the club owners in New York just hire their son to be the DJ so they don't have to spend any money and they don't realize that like a bad DJ can ruin the whole night. So now no one's dancing, no one's buying drinks because the DJ sucks, right? Everyone's leaving in and out of the club. New York, it's like part of the fun apparently was to go to like 5 or 6 different spots in one night because you're trying to get to as many places as you can to be seen as by many people as you can. And I'm just like, this is exhausting. This is my night out. You know, I'm not trying to do all that. And like even as a DJ, it was just like, man, it was just like you go to these clubs that want to, you know, they want the patrons to spend thousands of dollars for a few bottles of liquor and then the entire DJ setup equipment is broken and from 1972. And it was just like DJing in New York is all hip hop, right? So if you don't play hip hop, not even like the good kind of hip hop, like the most ratchet, most popular TikTok hip hop, if you're not playing that as a DJ, you're not gonna get as many gigs. And it's just, I feel like, you know, like people in New York are way too cutthroat. There's this idea of people thinking somebody has to lose in order for you to win in life. That's not how life works. Like human beings are not wild animals, all right? There's enough abundance and there's enough success for everybody. And I feel like a lot of people in New York think that undercutting each other is how you become successful. It's not, all right? Like charging a cheaper rate so that you can go DJ instead of me, doesn't help anybody, right? But I feel like in New York, everybody's just trying to make as much money as possible and save as much money as possible. So it's like a lot of experiences in New York that are supposed to be next level just end up being like cheap and average, right? But you're paying for this next level thing and you're not getting this next level thing. I don't know. New York, it claims to be the best. I love New York. It's not the best. I love New York. It's not the best. It's a cool place for some things sometimes. And that's the thing, New York and America, y'all need to get out and like try other things. Like America is not the end all be all. I'm gonna tell y'all that. All right, America's a cool place to be sometimes, but it's not the end all be all. So I'm having a much better lifestyle out here. I feel like there's just a much better balance. I feel healthier, I feel happier. Like in New York, I feel like I was depressed a lot. And I think it's because I come from a small town and New York just sort of has this overwhelming, crushing, insane feeling of you always being like anonymous, but then not having any privacy, and you're always in a rush somehow, and the train is always crazy, and you're not outside enough. New York is just very like synthetic and contrived reality. Whereas I feel like Amsterdam is like healthy and flowing, and again, no place is perfect. Amsterdam is not perfect, you know what I mean? And America is not the worst place on the planet. I was just done with it. And if I come back, y'all know. But for now, I'm gonna be in Europe. I'm on the internet. That's really where it's at these days. It doesn't matter where you live. The internet's forever. So, I hope that cleared it up. And I know I said you're gonna have to stay to the end to hear the real reason that I left. Well, now you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next video because I wanted to say that I know I've been off YouTube. I know. And it's like, why can't I get consistent? Why can't I just post more often? Because I didn't know myself. I didn't trust myself. But now I know myself and I trust myself. That's the real reason I came to Amsterdam. I feel like I can thrive here. I feel like I can be my best self out here. And I'm ready to share my life and everything I've learned on the YouTubes. I know I've started this channel before, but I didn't realize what I was doing. I was young, I was naive, I was in New York, I was grinding, I was hustling. New York made me amazing though. New York was the pressure I needed in my life to become a diamond. New York is where I started my businesses. New York is where I figured out that I like wearing my hair in braids. New York is where I figured out everything about life. In Amsterdam, and this next season of my life is a place where I apply it and we thrive, and I got my boyfriend and I got y'all. So I'm gonna leave it there. Comment below if you can relate to any of these reasons in this video. Let me know what you want me to talk about next, and I'll see y'all in the next video. It's gonna be super soon, okay? Bye.